Boss Lady Conversations with Monica L.
and Coach Khaya.
Boss ladies are
Vulnerable,
authentic,
love,
hopeful,
abundant.
respected.
Boss ladies are
You.
Welcome back, Boss Ladies. We're back for another episode of Boss Lady Conversations. I am Monica L., boss educator, entrepreneur, self-published author, and poet. I believe all things are possible through synergy. My IG handle is at Monica L _writer. That's MONICAEL _WRITER.
Hey, boss ladies. I'm your girl, Coach Khaya, boss wife, mompreneur, sister, writer, and certified transformational coach. I help women reignite their dreams, access their power, and manifest the miracles that matter. My IG handle is at I am Coach Khaya. Thank you to all of our friends who've become our listeners and to our listeners who are becoming fast friends. Please continue to spread the word. Remember that this is much more than a show. It's a movement. We're better together, and we truly love you for joining us. Please follow us on Instagram at boss_lady_conversations.
Yes, thank you, Coach Khaya. And today we'll be exploring ways that boss ladies can learn to be even more comfortable giving and receiving support. Support can be a trigger word, or it can be a gateway for changing your life for the better. Our intention for today's show is to help boss ladies embrace the art of receiving and giving support. Now, when you think about support, it could be a trigger word for some people. What are your thoughts, Coach Khaya?
Oh, this is such a good point that you're making, because we know firsthand that needing support and needing help can often be seen as a sign of weakness, something that is not positive. And the worst part is that when you finally get to the place of saying, hey, I really do need help, sometimes no one's there to help you. So what do you do with those emotions and those feelings? How can you, one, be vulnerable enough to admit that you need help, and then recognize that you still may not get it? So I think this is such an important topic for our boss ladies, because we want to normalize asking for help, finding the help for yourself, and figuring out the resources. We want to normalize finding help and resources when you really, truly need it and want it. And there is nothing to be ashamed of.
Yes, Coach Khaya. Wow. This topic, it definitely hits home. And I'm sure it hits home for a number of our boss ladies, because a lot of times we do feel like we have to carry the whole burden of the world on us. And there is no one to support us because we are supporting so many people. So do you turn to the person that you're supporting and ask for support? Absolutely. And you hope that they can reciprocate that type of support. But you touched upon a number of things. Like you say, first, knowing as an individual that you need support, because I feel like somehow we've learned that we're supposed to move through this world without support. I don't know how that came to be, but when you talk to many people, they just figure it out themselves. If you got to go get this and get that and do this and do that, you figure it out. You try to make a map and try to have an agenda or a schedule, but you figure it out. And like you say, if you do turn to someone, and hopefully you have someone to turn to, if they're able to help you in that time, and how that can be received if they're not able to help you when you were that person who did not reach out for support initially. Yeah.
You're so right. And here's the thing, we have to be brave enough to take it on the chin when we don't get support, and to not let that stop us from asking for support in the future. Because part of receiving the right kind of support is asking the right person. And sometimes you do have to ask a couple of wrong people, know that they are really doing their best, even though their best may not be good enough for what you need in that moment. You still have to be willing to ask again, ask someone else, take a different approach. It's very important that we have our needs met so that we can start to thrive in every area of our lives.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And then sometimes it comes down to you have to reassess your circle. If you have a circle and no one in your circle can support you, but you support your entire circle, then you might need to do some self assessment. Yeah.
Just saying. And this is the perfect time. Black History Month is still some time away. So we just really do need to be honest about that. And just because something has always been certain ways, it doesn't mean that they should always be that way. Right. And Monica L and I always say that we want people that are smarter than us, right? We need this in our circle. We're always talking about like the diversity that we want in our circle, someone who can sew into us in a different way and that we can all continue to grow together. That is so important. Some people, they're always going to be bystanders. They're just going to watch you struggle. They're just going to watch you soar. They're just going to watch because they don't really have it in them to contribute in a bigger way. They're just going to watch, right? And if you have more bystanders in your life than actual participants, then as Monica L said, it's time to reassess your circle. It is because we are watching people in this world vibrate so high together. And I love that quote. It says, my whole team vibrating higher. My whole team is winning, right? We want to win as a collective. And I think that's part of the problem. We've spent so much time individually and collectively struggling alone. And it doesn't have to be that way. I think 2022 is a perfect opportunity, after all we've been through, after all we've survived, this is the perfect time to take another look at your circle and think about, am I giving support in the best way? Am I able to receive support in the best way? Where do I stand with my own relationship with support?
Yes, yes, and yes. And like you say, going back to the key part of being open to receiving support. And so when you know that you need this type of support, then you know who you need it from. And that can help you as you shift or adjust your circle so that you know what the missing piece is. And we're all about relationships that are equally yoked. So we're not saying go out here and find all these people that can support you because it's all about bringing something to the table. And I'm a firm believer in that because again, you cannot have Thanksgiving meal if you don't have a plate. So somebody needs to bring the utensils, but somebody needs to have the turkey as well, if that's what you're eating. So yes, having like everyone needs to contribute something in a very meaningful way. And sometimes support is just being a listening ear. We're not always talking about financial support or someone physically helping you move or something like that, but just being there to pour something into you. Say that it's going to be okay, even if you don't think it's going to be okay. Just being there, being present in the moment and having something positive to contribute. So, yes, this is definitely a very loaded topic. And the sad part is a lot of us don't ask for support. And I think we don't ask because we don't think that there is anyone there to support us.
And if that's where you are, sometimes it's just best to acknowledge that to yourself, right? That's the hard part. Taking that look at your circle and being honest about how you really feel. I find that we've gotten into a habit of holding things in to keep the peace. We don't say what we really mean. We don't do what we really want to do because we just don't have the energy to fight with people, to ask people those tough questions. And when we do this consistently, we suffer. We suffer. And it's okay to say it to yourself first. Because if you can be honest with yourself and understand where you are, then things can only improve from there.
That is so true, Coach Khaya. I mean, well, yes, you're right. Like starting with yourself and really looking at that. Because again, we have choices on who we associate with. We have choices on the individuals we call our friends, our support system, our associates. And if you don't have that and you know you need that, And then if you're not being true and honest to yourself, like you said, you're doing a disservice to yourself and all those around you because you're not being true and authentic. You're just probably trying to not have conflict or whatever you think you're avoiding by not having those individuals around you to support you or not expanding your circle because maybe you don't want to learn new people and new things. Or maybe you just think that there's no one out there who has that capability to provide you with your needs. And so then that's also another part of self-reflection as we move into this new year.
It surely
Yes.
is. I've noticed too, I'm always, as a coach, I'm always about intention setting, but I noticed that sometimes you don't always want to have to set the intention for even the little conversations or the unexpected interactions that you're having with other people. But I think it's so important that you do take the time to set your intention. What am I expecting when I walk into this room? What kind of support do I need? And even saying what kind of support you need, it's not even holding everybody in that room accountable. It's holding yourself accountable because you'll know if you're not receiving that support and then you can act accordingly. I
Yes.
found that, yeah, going into certain conversations where you're feeling vulnerable, it's important that you take a moment and set those expectations, set up those intentions. Like, I'm feeling really vulnerable and I'm about to have a conversation with someone. Is this okay? Is this okay for me? You just pause and it happens so quickly. It's a quick conversation with yourself because you'll know when something doesn't feel right. Immediately, you'll know because you already brought something to the table.
Yes. And I like what you said, because I know we talked a lot about intention. And I know we talked about that in previous episodes. But I don't think that, well, I speak for myself, I don't do that in every aspect of my life. I do it for those meetings that I'm like looking forward to, like, oh, I'm going to have coffee with such and such. So I'll set my intention. But going back to previous episodes where we talked about setting your intention at the beginning of the day, and you talked about when sometimes at the middle of the day, you might feel a different kind of way. So, and not to absorb other people's energy. So I think all of that matters. Like you say, when you're going into a conversation that that can be a little heated, some words may be exchanged that may not be well received by the second party, but set your intention, because if you're operating in your true, authentic self, and you are expressing yourself and your feelings, how you feel about it, then all of that is valid. Now, how it's received, and that's on that person, but definitely the ability to communicate your feelings and what you need is so important.
And it's truly our responsibility. Sometimes we expect other people to treat us better than we treat ourselves. And I think we need to normalize taking full responsibility for how much we love ourselves, how much we respect ourselves, and how much we support ourselves.
Yes, yes. I love it, Coach Khaya. Oh my gosh, yes. You touched upon a lot of things. And Coach Khaya is accepting new clients. Don't be afraid to reach out. Direct messenger. I am Coach Khaya. Oh, yes, I really do. This is really resonating with me. And this is definitely a really good topic where, again, being able to receive support and knowing that your circle, your village can provide the support that you need. And if they cannot, reassessing that and bringing in the people who can. And we're not saying that it's easy. We're not going to say that you could just go out and just find someone, but at least your needs are not being met. And so therefore, you do need that support. And I don't believe that we were made to be here alone and not supported.
And there it is.
Yes.
According to the 7 Summit Pathways Treatment Center, there are 3 ways to get better at accepting help. And one of those ways is to find the source of your discomfort. They say that you should ask yourself why you dislike asking for help. Is it a pride thing? Did you have a bad experience asking for help in the past? And then once you understand the source of the discomfort, then you can start to challenge it, right? So you're starting to ask yourself, is that a real issue or is that something that happened 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago? Like, am I still there? Am I still that person? Is that person still in my life? Was that person just unable or unwilling to help me? Was that an isolated event? Have I had people offer me support since then? Like really taking the time to give it a deep exploration. Where does this idea that I have to do everything by myself, where does it come from? Another area that they offer is to consider the other side. So before you reject someone's offer to help you, consider how you would feel if you were in their position. So if you like helping people, maybe think of how it would feel if you never had the opportunity to help someone. How much helping others enhances your life, like that good feeling. Like we talk about having an attitude of gratitude. We talk about how good it feels to think about what's going well. But there's also so many good feelings associated with being able to help and support others. Being able to sow into the life of someone who really needs an extra hand or an extra encouragement or a good word, like someone who may not even see themselves as you see them, but you're giving them that gift of a positive light. Oh my goodness, I see you. You're doing great. You're making so much progress. I'm really proud of you. Those are words of affirmation, but they are also a means of providing immediate support.
I love all of that, Coach Khaya. And thank you for sharing those too, because that's loaded. That's loaded on many aspects. Of course, us as Boss Lady Conversations, we love supporting. We give back in so many different ways, definitely to our youth and just through community service. But like you say, if there is a discomfort with that, then you know what? The third step is you should really reach out to a professional. And when we say professional, we're talking about life coaches like Coach Kaya, or whether it's a therapist, it could be in any different discipline, social work, psychology, just really reaching out to see if your inability to accept help is something that's persistent and it causes you some type of distress or struggle, then you want to definitely look at that and get the professional help to help you in this process. And it's their job to help people. So you can feel more comfortable receiving the support when you're working with them and then afterwards. So just again, you don't have to be in this alone. There are different ways to help you. And we talked about non-traditional therapy as well. So you can explore many different options. If you have questions, again, we're here, we're available. You can reach out to us on Instagram. You can email us. We're here to help you because, again, this is a movement, Boss Lady Conversations, trying to help everyone live better, feel better for 2022 and beyond.
That's such a good point, Monica L. I mean, even picking up your book, your affirmations journal, and being able to spend that time in the journal, like maybe you want to keep it private at first and you just want to kind of assess, because sometimes it's not easy to ask for help if you don't know what you need. And sometimes having a relationship with your journal can be a wonderful means of support. Having that writing down your thoughts, saying those affirmations. And trust me, your affirmation journal is so powerful and is so key in helping you uncover like what's happening down deep inside. And so I really appreciate that. And I think a lot of Boss Lady listeners would also benefit from taking it home first, right? Taking it home first so that you can even express how you're feeling to another person.
So thank you. So yes, my positive affirmation journal is available on Amazon and it does have writing prompts to inspire peace, health, and wellness in a global pandemic. So it is something that I would love for everyone to secure their copy. Again, I'm offering electronic versions to the first 10 who decide they wish to reach out to me. But positive affirmations, again, pouring into yourself and knowing what you need. That's the takeaway. Because when you know what you need, and then you can go out and secure that. But you have to know first what you need. And no one can tell you that better than yourself. So yes, Coach Khaya, and that's just another coaching tip and a series of more to come. So I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you. And I truly feel that support and sisterhood go hand in hand. I think when you think about the totality of life and you have those moments where you're in despair and you're struggling with something, you really get a chance to see who has your back. And I can tell you, since day one, the first day we met, there was like always something different about you. Like this light just was shining on you. And I know it's the light of God, but it was so clear because I moved to LA with a one-way ticket. And you know how I do with a one-way ticket. And I didn't know a lot of people. I was building my support system. And I was so used to people not helping. I was so used to people being in competition and so used to people wanting you to prove your worth. It was a lot of prove your worth, name drop. Why are you here? Tell a good story, right? But with you, it was always so pure. Like your heart was so pure. And you're like, wow, you're the first person that was like, wow, you moved here and you just left your whole family and everything you knew. That's amazing. How can I help you? What is your dream? And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like there's this genuine spirit that you have, and you always had it. You just want to see people win. And I knew, from that day forward that our friendship would go the distance, our sisterhood would go the distance. And I just feel, I want to say thank you for that. Thank you for being that kind of supportive sister. You didn't even know me well. I was a new person in your life, but you really opened your heart and you really supported my dreams. And I will never forget that. And look at how it's manifested for us doing creative work, doing the things that we're passionate about today.
Oh, thank you, Coach Khaya. Don't make me emotional. Everybody know I'm a big crybaby every time and again. But no, so many similarities, not being from Los Angeles and just admiration for those who go for their dreams, their true dreams, and not just following the blueprint that someone established that you don't know who, but you're following it. So just knowing that you were going for your light, and not that I have much in terms of resources, but I definitely had support and knew that even my circle, if someone in that circle can support you in getting your dream, then we all win. Because like you say, I mean, you would hope that your support system would want you to be happy and that they will pour into you the way that they can. I don't know if I knew anybody that I could connect you to, but I knew that I could be there and I could be your cheerleader on the sideline and ask about your auditions and all those things. That I was just so impressed that you came here to go for your dreams, because a lot of times it could be easy for us just to put the dreams on hold and do what we think we're supposed to do just to make the ends meet. So no, I had so much admiration and I was here to support that. And now here we are, Boss Lady Conversations. So
That's
yes,
right.
thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I wanted to ask you, when you think about supporting someone, how do you know what they need? Do you put yourselves in their shoes? Like, what is your personal process for extending your support?
That is a great question. I think by nature, I'm a problem solver. Someone at work joked and said, "Oh, you must love puzzles as a child." And I was like, I don't know what you're saying, but okay, cool. I think, or at least I try to be a good listener. I try. I'm not going to say I'm always good, but I try to be a good listener. And I think when people feel comfortable, they will tell what's on their heart or what they're going through. And so in doing so, I never am under the mindset of I'm listening for the problem so I can help solve it. But as they talk, I provide options. And I don't know if that's just the way I was raised or the psychology background or just having a career as an academic advisor. And so I always believe that sometimes people just don't always see their options, because when you're in it, it's hard. You just like, I'm in it, I'm in the thick of it. All I see is going forth or not. And so if a part of those options, I can play a role in it, then I will offer it. But I'm very careful with my words, because I know for some people, like we said, receiving support, people are looking like, oh, what do you want from this? Or, I don't know when I'll be able to repay it, if it's something financial. So I try to be mindful and know the person. And then sometimes I just know that I'm just going to have to just slide them something and they won't, where they can't refuse it. But I really try to just be a sounding board, if anything, because sometimes I think people just want to be heard. It's not that they want you to solve the problem, but they just want to know that they can talk to somebody. And just through things that's happened in life, I always try to be the person that someone can talk to, because sometimes people don't see another way out, and they could do things that you can't come back from. So I just think being that ear, and not that I'm trained in any of those ways to support people in maybe the way that they need to be, but at least I could be the one that says, well, maybe you should try X, Y, and Z, and you can call me anytime. So it really looks different depending upon who the person is and what stage of life they're in. I have godchildren, so the support looks a little different for them based on their ages versus, if it's a friend or if it's a coworker. But again, I just go back to just listening to the person, and like really actively listening, not jumping ahead and say, oh, I know what you need. Because people usually don't want to hear that you know what they need. Um, but just being active and being present. So that's my overall takeaway. And if I can help, then making that phone call or sending that email, if that's going to help someone get to their journey or help them not be in this stressful situation, then do that and keep it moving. Like, I don't do things to look for something in return.
No, you truly don't. And let me tell you, just from what I know about you, the roster of resources that you've provided for others, the emails sent, the level of support. I mean, you've even become caretaker via video chat to my almost 3-year-old little one. I mean, it just goes on, and it looks different every time, but it's so meaningful. And I feel like that is definitely a gift. It is a gift and it is a blessing. And people need that. They need that, and they need to be able to give those resources as well to others when they need it, because it feels good. Reciprocity is a blessing, because if you just
Yes.
have one side of it where you're always giving, 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 and never receiving support, then you start to feel resentful and sad and stressed out, because then you forget how to even ask.
That is true. You'd be like, wait, I supposed to ask
Mhm.
for support? I just thought, yeah. And you just don't. And then you're right. And that's one thing you don't want to feel. But I always feel like I am appreciated. And sometimes it's just a word as just thank you. It could be just really that simple. Thank you. It don't even have to be thank you for doing blah, blah, blah. It just somebody just say thank you or I appreciate you. But you're right. You should definitely, it should be reciprocated, and that you feel that you have value and others have value as well, that they can pour into you. So I totally agree with you. Yes.
I love that. And I hope the boss ladies hear that. Sometimes when somebody is sewing into your life so much and you always kind of feel like you're on a receiving end, you feel like you need to be quiet or wait for like a grand gesture. But what Monica L said is sometimes people just want to hear, thank you. Thank you from my heart. I really appreciate you. And that's a gift. That is actually giving someone else support.
And it makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, like, oh, someone appreciate what I did, and not just taken for granted, because that's not a place you want to be either, where you just feel like, oh, they expect me to do that. You never want to be on that end, where people expect you to do it, and then if you don't do it, then there's a problem. So you definitely want to be on the end where you're appreciated for what you did, and they don't need to say it a million times. Saying it once is fine, and then just moving on. Yeah, I
Because you can
agree.
feel that. You can feel that in your spirit. Yeah. And you hear my little one. Thank you, mommy. It goes a long way. It
It
goes a long
does.
way.
It does. It makes you smile, even when you're tired. You don't want to do nothing else. You're like, okay, I can go do
I
one
can
more
go a
thing
little
now.
further, right?
Exactly. Someone said thank you and acknowledged my hard work. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So we have a quote from Serena Williams. It says, the success of every woman should be the inspiration to another. We should raise each other up. Make sure you're very courageous. Be strong, be extremely kind, and above all, be humble.
I love this Serena Williams quote. It just touches upon everything, like raising each other up, not falling into sometimes how society will want us to view each other or put us against each other. Who wore it best? Who did this? Who sung it better? Why we just can't all just be, and we're doing it our way. And so that makes it the best. And courage, that speaks volumes, and being strong. It takes courage to put yourself out here in any capacity, whether it's just, I'm going outside today. You're still putting yourself out there for someone to snap a picture or have something to say, or even us doing this podcast or being on social media and what is shared. That is very courageous, because a lot of people behind the scenes can say many things, but you do have to be strong. But knowing that that's not something also you need to wear 24/7 and feel like you can't be whatever the opposite of it is to you. And know that there's a lot of strength in saying, I need help, or I need a moment, or I just need a little bit more patience right now for myself and others. So that is being strong and knowing what you need and expressing what you need. Because a lot of times, like you said, we can assess what we need, but if we don't express it, we're just harboring feelings. We're just harboring that I wish I would have had someone who could do X, Y, and Z. But you either A, did not ask, or B, you don't have anyone to ask that of. And so again, love Serena, love the whole family. And she's definitely one of our role models. Yes.
Very true. And even thinking about Boss Lady Conversation, we realized, okay, our format is that we want other amazing people to join us on the show. We want to be able to talk to other people that we respect and admire, because we know that they have something to share with our listeners that will bless their lives in some way. But think about that. That's something vulnerable, right? That we have to ask people to take time out of their lives to join our show. We have to make sure that the vibe is right. We have to make sure that we're providing them with a positive experience so that they feel like their time was well spent. We have to be vulnerable and ask for support on this show. And it's not easy, but it's definitely helping us to grow.
Yes, definitely not easy. So fortunate for all the guests that we've already had, and
Amazing.
Those that are already scheduled, and the ones to come. But you're right, because again, we're building a community of support so that you can reach out to them based on their area of expertise. And then if you want to join us, again, you can email us, you can message us. We would love to have you on. If you want to share your blessings with the community and it aligns with Boss Lady Conversations. So don't hesitate. If you would like to be a guest on our show, feel free to email or hit us up on IG. All of our contact information is available, and we will make sure it's available at the end of this show as well. So now we are going to highlight two boss ladies who are best friends for life. And they exude what it means to have support and connection. And so we would like to highlight Tisha Campbell and Tasheena Arnold for their 40 years of friendship. 40 years, 4 decades of friendship and amazing careers. And they show no sign of slowing down. No. So the one I'm going to start with is Tasheena Arnold, who's from Queens, New York. She discovered her penchant for entertainment when she was 4 years old by performing in the family's church congregation. Arnold has been a thriving career in both television and film, with many credits to her name. Tasheena Arnold is a 2-time NAACP Image Award-winning actress. The first was her role as Pam Jones on a hit series, Martin, and she earned her second award as an outstanding actress in a comedy series for her work in the first season of the critically acclaimed comedy series, Everyone Hates Chris, which was inspired by a childhood experience with the comedian Chris Rock. In addition to acting, Arnold donates her time to several charity organizations that serve children. And for 2021, CBS recently announced that they are doing their 4th season of The Neighborhood. That is one of my favorite shows. It is so funny with Cedric the Entertainer. So today we salute you, Tasheena Arnold, and we give you your roses on Boss Lady Conversations.
Yes, we love to see it. Powerful, powerful 2 boss ladies that have the support of one another, that have been willing to go through life's ups and downs together and are still standing and holding each other sacred and letting the industry know that they will always be unbroken.
That part.
We love it. We are here for it. We are here
Yes.
for it. I want to highlight mother, singer, actress, philanthropist, and CEO, Tisha Campbell. Okay. She was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. She was raised in Newark, New Jersey, where she attended Newark Arts High School. She is best known for so many roles as a cultural icon. We've been seeing her in the industry for so long, and in the roles that we remember when we were coming into our own, she has always been that representation of strong queen, and she has really helped us to grow. She is best known for her starring roles in the Fox television series Martin as Gina and as Janet J. Marie Johnson Kyle on the ABC sitcom My Wife and Kids. Her first TV appearance was at the tender age of 8. She's been putting in work, and she was on a PBS show, The Big Blue Marble, and she starred alongside. Campbell has appeared in films including School Days, Rooftops, Another 48 Hours, Boomerang, and Sprung. She received Independent Spirit Award for Best Supporting Female nomination for her performance in the 1990 comedy film House Party, and she later starred in both of the sequels. There is so much that she's doing, and she recently is working with executive producer Viola Davis on a new show called Black Don't Crack. So these ladies aren't going anywhere, and Tisha, we salute you for all of your work and all of your amazing experiences, and just for being such an amazing sister to your sister, Tasheena Arnold.
Yes, yes, Coach Khaya. Yeah, you did that. Like, oh gosh, Gina, and yes, that character, that was definitely iconic to be able to hold her own, be a woman, and just really stand for a lot of things. I think looking back, we can just still catch some very memorable moments and values. And I definitely appreciated everything these ladies have done. But more importantly, like you say, they are mothers. They are out here. They are still doing it on far as co-hosts on just shows and just still being very relevant and true to themselves. It looked like they are very true and authentic to themselves. So we welcome them on Boss Lady Conversations. Anytime you want to come by, just give us a call. Well, Boss Lady. Yes, yes, we would love to have both of you. Yes, yes, yes. So we can just share in that light that you continue to give us, and we pray for them and their families. Well, boss ladies, that's our show for today. So here's a quick recap. Number 1, know where you are when it comes to your relationships and receiving support. Like, just know where it comes from, where you are, who you will receive it from. Number 2, think about the quality of your relationships. I'm going to say that again. Think about the quality of your relationships. Are you the one always giving? Does your relationship include a healthy dose of reciprocity? Like, really think about that. Think about it hard. Number 3, do you have a supportive team? Like, really, do you have a supportive team? A team, not one person, but a team. Do you need to add to your team? Do you have enough objective members on your team? Like, to really think about your team as we are in this new year, in this new time, in this new space. Number 4, embracing balance when it comes to giving and receiving support. Is not one way. It's supposed to be a balance. 50-50 is the goal. 50-50, balance. Having balance in your life is so important. Having balance with your friendships, your relationships with yourself, so important. So important. And then 5th, do you raise each other up? Like Serena Williams quote, like raise your friends up. Like we all win. When one wins, we all win. We all want to celebrate each other. You don't want to be the only one that is receiving all the accolades and all the support and everyone's looking to you. You want that to be in your circle. You want everyone to be elevated. And finally, saying thank you. Like just that simple, say thank you. Someone did something for you, because my mama taught me, don't nobody got to do nothing for you. So say thank you. Say thank you. Thank you is an amazing way to give and receive support.
We hope that you're walking away from our show today feeling ready to be your best supportive selves, whether that means that you're going to be giving support more or receiving support more or doing a healthy dose of both. We appreciate you. We see you out here doing amazing things in the world, and we have your back. Take care, boss ladies.
If you haven't already done so, please follow us on Spotify and iHeartRadio.
And you'll be notified whenever we post a new Boss Lady Conversation episode.
You are who you say you are.
You're destined for great things. Your life matters each and every day.
Now go get your blessings, boss ladies.